live. Look at me go. We live. Yo, thank y'all for tuning in again. Can y'all hear me? Check my check 1, 2. Like I said, again.
I know.
Shoe swap.
Oh, come on, man. With the shoe swap.
I told you.
I couldn't do that. I was like, I might be worried.
Wait, should be just you. Is that live Instagram?
We can do live Instagram, but be on the phones directly, not with the camera and stuff. But yeah, man, hey, we live. We live. Look at Megan changing the shoes on this thing.
I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's okay.
I think the volume is fine. Oh yeah.
Can they go down?
Can y'all reduce your volumes on?
All right, it's down now.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all for tuning in again another Sunday, and thank y'all for coming out. New faces, faces. You know what I'm saying? They're probably familiar faces. Y'all probably seen 1 or 2 of these folks up here. But thank you for tuning in. Again, my name is Peter, and you know, go ahead, introduce yourself. Just say it.
Cassandra here.
Boom.
TP.
What? What you say?
Dawn.
Oh, that TP now. Yes, it's tough photographer.
Gets it.
What's it?
His alter ego, basically. I'm Kelechi.
I'm John.
You know, I'm a veteran. That's right. Megan. I've been here before, whatever.
This is a veteran.
Yeah. From New York.
Oh,
Only been
man.
here twice.
Thank y'all for tuning in. If you're watching, just go ahead and share that link with your friends who you know might be interested in having a good conversation, or just engaging with us. If you're watching and you want to chat with us, go ahead and jump to the YouTube app, or go to youtube.com, search for CTalkTV, find it. If you have a Google account, then you can chat basically. Right? Almost everybody has a Google account, so just go ahead and just take that 2 minutes, 50 seconds, 30 seconds, just sign in, and boom, you can chat and ask us questions,
Yeah.
And if you know one of these people up here, they sent you the link, you want to chat with them, ask some questions, you know what I'm saying? Jump in the chat, ask some questions, and let's vibe. But yeah, definitely share that link so that we can, we have more people on here, we can have a good conversation, we can feed off you guys' vibes, or what you guys type in the comments, because we're definitely looking at them and picking up a thing or 2 from there, and we're talking about it. But other than that, man, good vibes.
Just want to remind people to subscribe as well.
Oh yeah. Subscribe. Hey, please.
Go and watch other videos.
Boom.
Yeah.
That part. So we basically feed off y'all's feedback, likes, subscriptions, shares, whatnot, comments. But yeah, that's what it is. And I see the chat box jumping up. It was just 5, now it's 13. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. Share. Keep sharing. Yeah. And if you know anybody that's sleeping, wake them up. Let's go.
Correct thing.
If you have grudge, just put your headphones inside. But no, appreciate y'all for tuning in again, man. Good vibes. Hey, real conversation. We're just gonna go over this little scenarios and whatnot. Like, put yourself in those shoes and let's see. Let's hash thoughts. Let's hash thoughts. That's how that goes, right?
Honest opinion.
I know. Yeah, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm prepared. I'm scared. It's okay. I'm ready.
Let's just talk. Let's just talk. We'll go ahead and start with the first one. This one is like, for this one we'll probably just separate each other, boys versus girls, or men versus women. So this one is a little, I think we all go through these every day. I do.
Every day?
And it's always like, sometimes you just gotta be like, but let's just go jump into it. Why do men always tell their women to be the one to decide what restaurant they go to eat out at, right? And another question to that is, why is it such a struggle for men and women to decide what restaurant to eat at?
We had this issue yesterday. It took us like at least 45 minutes.
We still had not decided.
Could not find what we wanted to eat. Ended up eating at a place that we were okay with eating at.
We did not really want to eat.
We didn't want to be there, but it was like at that point when you become hangry, you just will settle for anything.
But what were y'all looking for?
Well, the thing is, I think
I knew what I was
you
looking
have
for.
a taste for something.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, you don't know. It's like you don't want necessarily like maybe like Mediterranean or Indian, but it's like you want something that will taste good, that will fill you up, makes you feel good, but you don't know.
Have you been to a place that made you felt like that before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you go back there?
Because she's in Dallas, my mother. No, her cooking any day of the week, I will always be able to want.
Now let's bring this into relationships.
Right, relationships.
Man, well, not necessarily marriage, just, you're with somebody.
Yeah.
Why, I always people like, guys, like, cool, anything goes, right? We're just like, oh, what do you
That's
want to eat?
annoying.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. Because anything goes because in the back of our
Speak for yourself,
minds. When I say anything goes, it's like, I'm craving something I know, but
Not
especially when
as
you're
picky.
that, because when you're in a relationship like that, 9 times out of 10, what I like, she don't like. Or 9 times out of 10, where I want to go, she doesn't want to go.
9 times out of 10, that's a lot. It's a lot of time.
Well, what do you want?
Because we're simple, right? Guys are simple, right? When I'm hungry, I'm simple. Are you complicated?
Yeah.
When it comes to
Simple in man's
Much, yeah.
logic.
No, I'm not. Like, I'm
No,
not talking
my logic is I'm hungry, I want to eat something,
Yeah.
so I find something to eat, and I'm not hungry anymore.
So don't
And
you
that's
choose
it.
Okay,
what
so
you
then you
want
don't
to eat?
care. Then you
Yes,
don't
it
care.
doesn't. It's not rocket science for me to find something.
So you
I
just
could
go
right
outside,
down
the first restaurants you see, you'll go eat.
Yeah, I would walk outside.
But that's
I smell
not
fried
simple.
chicken right there. Okay,
Oh,
I'm going to
fried
get some
chicken.
fried chicken. No, because
Okay.
it's just.
I'm
Okay.
asking a straight question. Why do you say that was not, when I said we just want to eat anything we want, like we're not complicated, we're just like boom. we just
Yeah.
wanna-
I mean, y'all are not complicated, but that's annoying when you're dealing with a woman who likes intention, because men are just like, okay, we can eat whatever, and women, like men have it in their idea, like in their mind that women are indecisive and can never choose, but that's not really, well, for me, like for personal experience, like I'm a picky eater, so I'm the type of person where it's just like, other people like to eat foods I don't like to eat, so people like seafood, people like, lamb, all this type of crazy stuff. I don't eat none of that. So it's just like, I'm the type of person where it's just like, you can pick wherever you want to go and I'll find something to eat.
Okay.
But I'm not going to be like, oh, you chose this. No, I'm not feeling that. Oh, I'm not feeling that. No, I'm going to find something to eat and call it a day.
Exception.
But
Yeah.
I'm sure you won't be making faces.
I promise you I won't.
Because
Even if it's
she was-
salad, like whatever.
she was saying-
Unless I'm having a specific craving, then I'll open my mouth and I'll say that. But other than that, we can eat whatever.
Well, see, if you feel like we can eat whatever, and then he feels like we can eat whatever, then you're at the same dilemma,
Then we
which is
go for a
nobody
notes
has
app.
decided.
You know how everybody has a notes app where they have a bunch of restaurants, just pick one.
It is hard.
We need to do that.
It
That
is
I don't
hard.
have. But also
Yeah.
I think, let's say we are in a relationship and let's say you tend to be at your lover's house for the most part. If me, I'm cooking for you, most of the time, I'm choosing for the most part what we're gonna eat for dinner, for lunch, for breakfast. So if this is a partnership, you choose where we go out to eat, me, I'll choose what I cook for us to eat. And it's
But
partnership.
there lies
pretty
a
good.
problem when the man chooses what they should go eat. It's a problem.
You
because
should
now-
know me.
Why is it
Now.
a problem?
No.
What I
So
want
it
before I
shouldn't be.
want
So
it.
it shouldn't
No.
be a problem because she makes a very good point. It's like, all right, she's doing the cooking. Let her decide what she wants to eat.
Okay.
If she's nice enough to ask you, hey, what do you want to eat, and you answer, right, with something specific,
Then
she
I
goes
guess
ahead
that's
and
what
makes
y'all gonna
that.
eat.
I
But it's
know my
ultimately
babe.
her decision.
I know my babe.
Yeah,
I
so
know
that's
what
the
he
thing.
wants.
By knowing is
Okay.
you surveyed him or her, and you guys know each other, right? But I'd say like, if you're making a meal, like he should be cool with it. If
But
not,
sometimes,
yes, I think
you
you're
remember
missing
that Blue Therapy episode where Chioma was making African food, and Peter, or whatever his name was, he was just like, I'm on a diet, and it was just like, it was causing rifts and issues in their household. Like, she knows that he's on a diet, but that's not the food that she cooks.
but she said that she actually had a like a middle ground where she was like, okay, how about on weekends? Let's do
Right,
that.
and he
You know?
just
So
wasn't
yeah,
looking.
because at the end of the day, relationships or partnerships, let me say that, are all about compromising.
Right.
Nobody really gets what they want ultimately every single time. So you
Right.
have to compromise. And if you don't think that in every scenario, it wouldn't work. So
that is facts. That is facts. But
I mean, that's very, very optimistic thinking, but you're talking about food and women.
What is women?
Women are picky
See,
with
I got you on the rule, but then you said women, and
Yeah.
I'm feeling some.
No, seriously, like
but
a woman would say, I want to eat this, and she guessing, it's like, oh, I thought I wanted to eat it, but it's not.
That's
He's off the
people.
plate.
That's
I've
people.
never met a guy that doesn't. I'm
That's
sorry, it's
facts.
always women
No,
that do that.
I feel like I meet picky guys all the time. Are you kidding me? You're not the only one.
Men are very bougie
Yeah.
Well,
themselves.
here's the thing. So yeah, some guys I am picky when it comes to food.
Yeah.
But the thing is, once I make up my mind that this is what I want, that's what I want.
And that's how I feel.
And so it's like, but when this is what I want, but on the woman's side, this is what I want. 10 minutes later, I'm not craving this right now. So back to what he was saying, what you were saying, like you cook on the weekends, or you cook in the house, and he should find a way to go out to eat. But here's the thing with that: 9 times out of 10, you're not feeling where he's trying to take you to, because you're just not feeling it.
I'm feeling it.
No, you're not.
No,
you're not.
I'm feeling it.
You just told us about how y'all went somewhere yesterday.
She's definitely not.
That's
No.
different. The thing is, with me personally, now mind you, see, if my babe is sitting on the
exposing
day, I'm not very picky because I'm not paying. So if I'm getting free food, I'm eating it.
But keep in mind though, keep this in mind though. It's not a date at this point. It's like this is somebody you're with. So it's not
Yes.
like you're paying and you're not paying. You guys
Still, I love free food regardless.
It's just what you want to eat.
Anything my mother cooks for me, because of me, I'm not paying, I will enjoy it.
So if you're paying
it's
for it,
different.
you take longer to pick out.
Yes, yes.
So that's a lot.
Yes,
Okay.
it's different.
Okay.
If he's like, hey babe, you know what? I'm feeling real Pakistani right now. Let's just go. I'll be like, babe, let's go.
So would you take him out to eat on the flip side?
That's not what this question
So
is.
it's a
This is a
question.
different question.
Okay, so it's a question though.
Am I not cooking the food that I'm buying with
What
my
if he
main
cooks too?
groceries?
What if he wants to cook and he buys those
Yeah.
same foods with his money, buys those groceries,
Yes.
and wants to cook?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, like what I'm basically trying to say is, why does one person have to consistently do one thing?
No,
Why
it's
can't?
not
It's not
No,
that.
she is. You're implying. No, okay, sorry. You're implying. I digress. You're implying that because you're like, I cook. He takes me out. Is what you're saying.
I mean, for a lack of better
Nice.
words, but of course, like nothing in life is fully consistent. Of course, there's gonna be days where I'm like, you know what? I'm really feeling this, or I want to try something new. Would you like to do that? Or if he's like, hey, my homeboy just opened a restaurant. You want to go try it? He has really good. I don't eat lamb, as she said, but I don't eat red meat. But he makes, I don't know, mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And I would go and I would eat it. Like
Yeah.
me, Megan, personally, I don't care. I love food. I will eat
You're
almost
very
anything.
open.
I'm very
Yeah.
open to
You care, but you're
anything.
open.
Like if that's why I don't like I don't like being presented with too many options
Same.
because then I don't want to make the wrong
Thank
decision.
you. I was actually going to jump to that because I think the reason why we find it hard, well,
There's so many
it
options.
was not just women, it's everybody. And it's because there's too many options. And if you live in Houston, we know that it's a melting pot. There's too many options. It's so difficult.
And then just go to Chipotle.
So real go-to. That's my go-to.
Oh,
But
it's
real
alright.
quick, if you
So
find
you know
something,
too.
You go to Chipotle if your guy trying to take out the date, like, oh, it's date
Wait,
night.
is this
Exactly. So okay, now check this out. I was about to flip the switch real quick. So here's the thing.
Okay.
You're in a relationship.
Yes.
I'm not saying marriage, I'm not saying whatever, but you're in a relationship. You guys
Okay.
you guys like you said, you have that dynamic or whatever. But you know that let's say you have date nights every Friday or Friday once in 2 weeks.
Okay.
You do it all the time. You plan stuff. Keep in mind, it's not a you have to. You're in a relationship. You say, we do date nights, right? So you tell him, hey, it's your turn for date night
Okay.
to plan to take me out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take 48.
Would you accept Chipotle?
Would I accept?
Absolutely not.
But you can't even go
No.
Opposite direction.
But Chipotle is,
No.
but a date night is not fast food.
Okay, facts. Now let me
Oh,
now let
yeah,
me finish.
recalibrate.
Okay, now that you've said
First of all, you can't even. You're not even served. Like you serve yourself.
Okay, check this out.
This ain't
Now
Lucy's.
that you said it's not Chipotle, now here's what I'm saying. Date night.
Oh,
It's
boy.
his turn to plan.
Okay.
To do something.
Yes.
Are you ready to accept any cuisine he takes you to? Because it's his night. And this is what I'm saying, men always takes a backseat because when they plan stuff, they always get a backlash with it. Because
You're using very absolute, definitive words such as
I do
absolute.
agree. I do agree with you because I feel like a lot of times if a guy is like, hey, I want to go to August, I'm like, I'm just not really
I'm not
feeling
feeling it. That's the
Indian.
key
Like,
word.
that's
I
not
usually, no, I'm saying I
Yeah.
love August, but I'm saying I eat it often. So if a guy's like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to go to, like yesterday, I wanted to go to North Italia because I
Yeah.
really wanted the salad. And Megan and my other homegirl were like, the other girl was like, yeah, we can do that. And it was Megan who was like, oh, I'm down to go anywhere. Who's like, I just really don't want. And then we literally went through
But every
30
single
restaurants.
every option I throw out, every single option, I had at least
Yeah.
10 options.
I
She didn't
said
want
no.
none of them.
But why did I say no? Because I
This
knew
only
what I
proves our point.
wanted. So I
Hello?
wanted exactly what I wanted.
This only proves our point that it's hard for women to pick out what they want.
That's
to
what
eat.
No, but if you know what you want, then that is what you want to
No,
do.
hold on.
Because she
Y'all
could
keep
want
y'all saying
Filipino
but-
food and he could want Italian food. So what do? Like, where's the middle?
But
So
also,
it's like, She knows what she wants, so it's not like she's
So,
making
so
decisive.
thinking like, this is the thing, you've already tasked this man to make that decision to take you out for
If
date
it's
night.
date night, yes,
So-
I agree. Like for me, Chipotle is not date night because when I think of date night, I think of romance. Okay.
Right,
So it's romantic. Chipotle is not romantic.
No.
Chipotle is romantic. The way the lights droop down from the
No.
ceiling, and the ambiance, and come on now.
No.
Absolutely not. If it's date night, if the guy said, "Hey, we're gonna go here," I'm gonna say, "Great,
Yeah,
I will.
I'm gonna go.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. Let's go," because I feel like you went through all the work of making a reservation. You made the plans. At that point, it's not really like, "Oh, I'm not in the mood." to do
Especially
this."
if he's
It's
not
more
job.
about the thought
And if
that
he's
counts.
choosing, if it's
So,
his
yeah.
turn, then let it be his turn to choose.
Yeah.
Like, you can't dictate somebody what
Yeah.
they said they want to
That's
do.
not okay. I don't like that.
But I like
Somebody
when a
took the
man
time.
makes a decision.
Exactly.
I like how
Like
so-
leadership.
so-
If I can't be decisive, the both of us cannot be indecisive in this
That's-
relationship.
Yeah.
So if he's
Yeah.
capable of making a decision for me, and he's like, Megan, this is what
You're
we're gonna
saying
do.
this is a plan.
Get dressed,
Mhm.
or you know how some guys be like, you know what? Get dressed. Here's your outfit. I put it on the bed with your shoes, your everything.
Wait, what?
Just show up. Yeah.
So you're based on the outfit?
Guys have done that.
Bruh.
They'll be like, I went and I bought
Bruh.
you. See, it's because I'm in the room with 9 young men that they think that's too much. But you know,
Bruh.
on some of
No,
those
yeah, I didn't say
little
it's too
cute
much.
things,
I've never heard of it.
you've never seen a guy buy a dress for a woman, the shoes, and be like,
No.
you've never seen that.
No. I've never. Listen. I've never heard or seen a man lay out the outfit,
Yes.
the accessories, and everything.
Guess what?
Yes.
He's a stylist.
He's
He
not.
gotta be. He's a male stylist.
That right there is totally different
Like
from
in
buying
dating
an outfit. But
relationships,
actually,
you work
yes,
really hard
no, that's
That's-
different.
to
That's
buy
different.
yourself.
I've
Yeah,
seen
that's different.
guys actually be like, I like this dress on you, wear that red dress that I like with those shoes that I like, and then I'm gonna pick you up at 8, be ready.
Guys do say that.
They do that.
They do that.
That's
Obviously,
no. What you said, what you said
But
right
that
there.
is not the
What you
same
said
as
right there
laying
is a
it out.
suggestion. What you said was lay out the outfit,
Yeah,
the
he said two different
accessories.
things.
What's
the
wrong with
shoe.
that though?
I've never heard
Okay,
of
so
it.
it's two different
most guys are
scenarios.
not
Yeah,
gonna
that's-
physically lay the dress out, but that doesn't matter.
But that
If
doesn't
you're just-
matter.
Yeah.
Like maybe he
It's-
just was trying to be thoughtful.
Okay, so
Nine
the
times
first
out
thing,
of
the
10,
first
she
thing
wouldn't
you.
What 9 times out of 10?
coming from.
There's a 90% chance.
Oh my god!
Every time it's 9 times out of 10.
I know.
Okay, 8.7.
Oh.
5.
But that's not it. She's not gonna wear what he puts on there. She
I
gonna
will,
wear
if he wants me to wear it, I'm wearing it.
So you would
Now,
wear
if
what
we're
exactly
taking
your.
pictures, is a different story.
Mm.
But if we're just going
Yeah,
out and he's
God,
like,
this
babe,
yo, this
like he
is
sees her in
tomorrow.
this outfit, he's like, you know, I really love the outfit that you wear. It may not be appropriate for where we're going. Like maybe she needs to wear something a little bit more like.
What if it's the one that is the one I like?
Formal?
What if it's the dress that I like?
But that's what I'm
That
saying.
one
She'll
that
wear it.
is
She
saying,
will
this
wear
is
it.
That's how I was last week. I'm not wearing it again.
But you can't.
But
But
it's
if
the
he
one I
tells
like.
you,
That's true.
but it's like if we taking pictures, I'm
They just want you to do it, then they'll say no, like okay, but he
I'm
said
gonna
that.
wear it. If he tells me, first of all, if I know that I look, first of all, I'm gonna look good or whatever I put on, number 1. Number 2,
Then just wear it.
Number 2,
Even
if
if
he
it's that one
wants-
that is slit is going up here, like I like it. Right?
okay,
Like,
but if I'm going to a place that is a little bit more formal, I'm like, hey babe, I like that, but this is, I don't know,
Fuck
steak,
Sorry.
macho, steak
Screw them.
48. You know, I don't,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Or it's a little more traditional. Like, what if he wants to go to like an African spot?
If you know date night is coming up and you already got an outfit, would you still wear what he wants you to wear?
Absolutely.
So you
Absolutely.
would wear the one that you planned. You
I would do whatever my man asks me.
I honestly, when it comes to all
For
that,
dressing
With
or
an
like-
Wait.
What's your favorite?
No, I just feel like if it comes down to the guy is saying, okay, yeah, I really love you, and like I don't care if I wear the dress I wanted to wear. Like it's your
Doesn't
day. If
matter.
you want to see me in the dress, I'll put it on.
Exactly.
It's not gonna pick your back.
Why do men think that women
don't
truly
think
do
that.
not want to please them?
Check this comment out.
Take it.
Won't
Clearly.
fight. Don't fight now. Then next thing she'll say that you're controlling me by telling me what to wear.
Wait, so what?
Oh,
That's
well,
different. No.
Wait,
No,
wait.
no, no.
Well,
That
we
is
got-
a very good
we
point
have
because
to
I
be
hate a
mindful.
controlling man.
See.
But it's okay. A
The
suggestion is
controlling-
okay.
The controlling way you wear it comes with when you're trying to go out with your girls and you're wearing the outfit that man still likes, but because you're not going with him, he has a problem with it.
Well, the key word here is
No.
they have a misunderstanding, they have a fight, and then she's gonna start referencing, you made me blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm
My-
saying?
This is her
No.
clothes all the time though, so that's not
But
good.
mind you, we're dealing with we have to be dealing
All
with
day night.
sensibly minded people. When you're a sensible healthy-minded person,
So what is
and you
sensible,
have
though?
a
It's very
sensible, like,
subjective.
excuse me?
It means different things for different people.
When
What
I
is
say sensible means like you and me, like the both of us, like let's say I'm in a relationship with you. No disrespect to anyone that you may be dating, but I'm just saying for the record. You know, let's say you and I are dating and you know, you are healthy minded, you're reasonable, you have, you know, great communication skills. We've established that the both of us are normal, we're not crazy. I'm not gonna think that you're controlling me because you're picking out my outfits. Like, hey babe, I really like when you wear this.
No,
or
that's
whatever.
facts. That's facts.
And then we'll communicate.
But you missed the keyword. The keyword is you don't think it's controlling, but for some reason y'all get into a little bit of
But we won't.
You don't know that.
Not me. I know.
Not about the situation.
Not
but
something else.
about something else.
And then you bring that up.
And then you bring that up.
Well, this
Okay,
is like,
okay, I see.
it depends on how you see it. Like, I think if my man is suggesting to me, oh, hey, I want you to wear this, that's not controlling to me. I'm like, okay. He's not telling me every single day, yo, you better wear the jeans with the white shirt or
Every
else.
date night.
Yeah, I mean, every date night you
Well,
can't tell me what to wear.
every day night's a lot.
Every day night you
Like,
can't
give
tell
me a
what to
chance to
wear.
show you
Yeah.
that I can look good. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, every date night.
That he's in charge of. That you
He's
tell
a
him.
stylist.
This one.
No man is ever gonna tell you
Mind you,
every
they're not
single
gonna. They're not gonna.
You cannot
come
dress. I will
out
pick it for
there.
you.
You know, iron your outfit,
Yeah.
get a dry clean.
Bruh.
Hold on. Every man I've ever been with has always ironed my clothes. I don't iron clothes. I don't
Women,
iron
I've never
clothes.
met
I'm
a
just
woman
not
that
gonna
irons
iron-
her clothes.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
iron
honestly.
I've never met any woman
You probably be for sleep.
No.
Wow.
It's
Lord.
insane.
Clearly,
Do
I was
what
a
you're
house
good
girl
at.
because I ironed my mother's clothes, I ironed my father's clothes,
But you
I ironed my
were
own
like a
clothes.
house
I was a
girl.
house girl. So in my own home, I was a house
My
girl.
dad ironed all the clothes in my house, though.
All right, wait.
Shut
The
up.
conversation on that. I guess we're just gonna agree that yeah, women are more indecisive than men when it comes to choosing.
Absolutely.
That was what we got from this.
Yes, that's what we got.
Wow.
Leave it.
So whenever we said that whole men are controlling thing, okay, I see it.
We just had a 15-minute conversation about various opinions and
I know.
opinions. But all in all,
That's what
all
we
in all.
got.
I guess you agree, you know, that women are more indecisive when it comes to
This is
choosing
why I say
food.
defund men.
Yeah.
Hey.
defund men.
Defund the thank you.
Hold on.
I
Then how you be a
support
sugar baby if you defund the men?
that.
How you be a sugar baby? How will you
No,
be expecting
it's
guys to
a
take
way
you out? How are you expecting the
sugar.
same men to like to fly you to Dubai, fly you out, fly you here and there, eh?
Give
Give you
you
a
a lifestyle
lifestyle.
because you're eating something.
But defund
I
men,
actually have
I
nothing
mean.
to
The
say.
way
I'm gonna go ahead and say, let the men keep the money because I
No, what did he swear tonight, babe? All right, continue.
keep the money next.
All right, good talk on that one. Let's jump to the next one. This one says, why is it that when a man is trying to get to know a woman, he's always asked, the question, what do you have to offer? You know, what do you have to offer?
Nobody's asking men that.
Come on now. Come on now.
Are y'all
Come on
asking?
now.
You said nobody's asking that?
For a
Come
lack.
on.
Have you been asked that?
Yeah.
Have you been asked that?
Girl, yes, guys,
Have you
what
been asked
do you have to offer?
No,
For a lack of
personally,
better words.
Personally, no, but I've seen it a lot.
Yeah,
I've seen it a
for
lot.
lack of better words, right? Because, okay, let's not say what do you have to offer, but of course, if a man walks up to you,
Wait,
you want to know what's it bringing with him, what does he have, right? But let me finish something. Check this out. So,
Just need to know.
he's always asked, what do you have to offer? But when a woman is asked the question, what do you bring to the table, it sounds offensive and they get defensive. Right? So, when a guy comes up to a woman, let's not lie, come on. If a guy walks up to you, even though you don't ask him, you're thinking, what does he have? What does he have to offer? What is he bringing to the
Shouldn't
table?
both people be
You're
thinking
wondering,
that?
absolutely, because you're supposed to align your values with that person.
Wow.
But you're not asking somebody, what do you bring to the
I mean,
table?
at the end of the day, you're gonna ask that question indirectly or
No.
In some type of
In some type of way.
way. What do
you're
you
gonna ask that question.
do? What are
Exactly. But
what
when
are
a
you
guy asks that
into?
question straight up, it comes with some type of, hey, don't ask me that.
Or what do you
Like,
want from
in
it?
what way? If you're asking a woman what
You
she
said,
does,
what do you
if
want
you're
from
asking
me?
her what her traditions
You
are.
know, if he by mistake blurs it
Is that
out,
what you
what
asked
do
me?
you
What
bring?
do you want from me?
No, that's what they think.
You know,
What does he really
If you
want?
ask a woman,
That's
A
what
woman's
I'm
always
saying,
trying to
because-
take,
I think that-
I don't know. I just think that's just such a dumb question to ask a woman. It's just
But it's okay to
What
ask
do
a
you
guy.
bring to the
I hate
table?
that question
But it's okay to ask a guy.
because I just feel
Yeah.
like as a man it's different. I mean, mind you, you have to also establish what type of dynamic do you wish to have in your household. I think that as a man, if for me, from what I saw growing up, my dad is a provider and my mom is a homemaker. That their dynamic brings whatever brings to the table. So my mom wants a provider. Can you provide? Boom, and then everything else falls after. Then my father says to her, can you make children? Can you make the household? Can you help me in my business? Can you do these different things? Like, you know, raise the children up until they're a certain age, and then afterwards you can go to work. But I would appreciate it that while we are together, well, they're still together, you know, while we're together, that you do these things. I think the question for on both ends should not be what do you bring to the table. I think it's just like what type of dynamic do you wish to have in your household?
I feel like that's what you
And-
described. That's the question that's being
Yeah,
asked.
but what type of, no, what do you want? Like what type of dynamic? Like me, I would like to be with someone that can provide. Now, yes, I'm going to still work, but I want him to front the majority of the bills. That's how I was raised. That's how my community grew up in was raised. So
But-
it's like for me to want the same thing as my father, my mother, I don't think that that's abnormal.
So don't you feel like that's an answer to the question though?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah, because I think the reason why women typically get offended with that question is because of that like specific discourse of like, okay, as a man, I'm taking you on vacations, I'm buying this, I'm taking you out to eat, I'm doing this, so what are you gonna do? And typically what those men want, somebody who cooks, somebody who cleans, and to women, a lot of the time that question is loaded because it kind of defaults to like, okay, labor is what you want out of me.
Yeah.
You don't want a partner, you want somebody to labor for you, which is why that's why I find, if anyone ever asks me that, I'm typically hearing like, do you cook, do you clean, can you like take care of home, can I, you know, that's
So
what I'm hearing when I hear that question.
But what if the man is doing all that, like working and providing? What else do you? Because you're saying you want to be a partner, so how else can you contribute to being a partner?
I think it's a
besides-
vibe. I think that you can't.
Are you saying
can-
that you can only contribute to a partnership by physical?
No.
acts?
But listen.
What are you saying?
So she's, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all going based on what both of y'all just said.
Okay.
The man is the one out there providing, making the money, bringing the money home.
Right.
And it's supposed to be a partnership. So what else? How else can a woman
Well, what
provide
does he
in that
want?
kind of
Some
scenario?
men just want a woman who brings them peace. Like a
Okay.
lot of guys that I meet
Yeah,
that have
but
a
peace,
lot
but
of money.
I can't be hungry
But
and be peaceful.
I mean, wait, hold
Like,
on.
But no,
no,
but
seriously.
listen,
This is
but
getting
listen,
into
I know, but
that.
I'm saying as a woman, and I have this
Okay.
male and female dynamic conversation with many people, many men especially, and a lot of guys that are in a specific tax bracket can afford certain luxuries. So it's not that, oh, she must cook or she must, you know, clean, because it's nothing to get a maid to
Okay,
come to the house.
so
clean.
in that scenario, can you give me an example of how a woman can provide in terms
What-
of being a partner?
But that's what does he want? Like, does
So,
he want
okay, so
a
when-
woman?
Because I've been in relationships where the man did not conform to gender rules, so he would, if we were in the kitchen together, I was cooking, he was cleaning, vice versa, or he could cook
But what
himself,
is
so I was
cleaning?
always cooking. So that's what I'm saying, like, for me, I personally would never be in a situation with a man who was just like, I expect you to sit home and board children and cook
Thank
and
you.
clean.
I
Because
appreciate
that.
even myself, as a single woman who lives on her own, like, I'm working hard so that I can eventually get somebody to clean up for me, because I don't
Yes,
want to clean.
yeah.
So it's just like,
That is basic.
I mean,
like,
if we
that's
were,
basic
if
home
we were in
economics.
Nigeria, we
No,
wouldn't
so-
be doing any
No,
of
wait,
that
wait,
stuff,
wait.
just
So,
saying.
but you said that you're looking for what basically your mom was looking for as well, because in the past, you know, you have to realize that we have a different dynamic today.
Wow, exactly.
Nobody was doing meal prep services
Yeah.
in the past when your mom and dad were pretty much like.
Well,
doing
they
the
had
family
house
things.
help, and
Yes,
the house
you have-
help cleaned, and
I-
they
Same.
cooked.
If
I
we're in
understand,
another
I understand that, but I'm saying the dynamic these days is so different. I believe that
How is it
that
these days different?
it's very different. It's very different today.
From what
It's
you see, from
different.
what y'all see, y'all don't
First,
know what other people are
the-
doing.
the-
for the assumption of social media to
from
tell
the-
you.
Well,
and
no,
you're
it's
so-
not
no, no,
social
what I'm
media.
trying to
It's
say
just
is,
opportunities
yes.
for people. Like, I think career-wise,
Literally,
we can't.
you just read my mind.
We literally are not at the place that we were 30, 40
Yes,
years ago.
absolutely
we just simply
correct.
cannot be. So I think like once we go with the assumption that
Yep.
we have all evolved as a people, especially women with opportunities and career, etc., we're not at the same place. we
Yeah.
were
So
40
men
years
are not looking. I don't know what kind of men you're talking about, but they're not looking for. Oh, I want you to cook for me. I want you to clean for me. Those are archaic men. I'm saying
I
you
never
is
said
men-
that, but that's what
No,
I
you
said. I said that's not what they're looking for. You're repeating what I said.
Right. So okay, I guess okay. What I'm trying to say is basically is for people who know. I feel like if both of you are successful, however you deem success as, right? If I see you as a successful woman, I don't need to. And this is where I agree with you as well. Where the question is stupid. I don't need to ask you what you bring to the table because if I see you and I've studied you and I know what I know,
Exactly.
I should be going after you based on who you are
And
what-
Exactly.
and, like just basically who you are. That's it.
That's what I'm saying
Yeah,
because I can
exactly.
easily tell you all day long.
I don't know about that,
I
because
bring,
who you
I
are
bring
is-
consistent
who
sex.
you are-
I bring this. I bring that, and then you are actually with me, and the stuff that I bring, you might consider to be valuable, but then when I bring it, you might not really care. So it's really about the dynamic, like that you have. Like there's people that I'm sure you're friends with that if you were to put them down on paper, like why am I even friends with this person? But something about their energy just works with you and you are attracted to their energy. And that's what I've noticed about a lot of men. They'll be like, wow, like I just really like the fact that you're like this. I may not
Is that
cook
the
every
piece
single
you're
day.
talking about?
Whether it's peace, whether it's peace or whether it's the fact that some guys live a mundane life of going to work every single day and you might be exciting, like, hey, but I love to travel. I'm always traveling. And I might be able to be the one with him where he's like, you know what, babe, I really want to go on a trip, but I don't have time or energy or even the know-how to plan an adventurous trip. So he knows that I can do that. So I have my own skills or my own abilities or assets in this relationship that he might deem as valuable, and that's what I bring to the table. So I think this table that we're all bringing in the couch and the chairs, it's ridiculous. I think it just depends on the person and the dynamic. That's literally to me.
You were gonna say something, John?
No, they already answered it.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think
So-
that it's a different playing field these days, and I'm honestly like tired of people looking to be like their parents from decades ago because, like you said, there's we're in a day and age where women are making in general, right? Women are still underpaid. I agree with
Okay,
that.
there's a wage gap.
But yeah, there's still a wage gap. But some people, whether like man or women, or whatever you identify as, no disrespect, like you can make more than your counterpart. So a woman can make more than a man, and vice versa, right? And in this day and age, women are making more than men compared to back then. So I feel like back then there was really no choice, or not much of a choice when women were getting with their partners. So it's like, okay, this is basically what I had to offer, right? You had to be the provider as a man.
I don't think it was that prehistoric.
I think it was. Well, from where I'm from.
Well, from where I'm from, it wasn't that
But here's the
prehistoric.
thing, from what both of y'all are saying, whether we like it or not, there's still people today who want that type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And who-
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
people that will walk
That
up to
would-
women and say, I want you to stay at home.
And there's people who can
I want you
offer
to
it
cook.
too. Yeah.
want
And
you
I
to
think
do
that
blah,
that's
blah, blah,
okay.
blah.
I think that's-
And then, but here's the thing, it's okay, but where it's not okay is if she doesn't want that and you're forcing her to do that. You know?
Then I'm not the right one for you and move on.
But I also think that it's not improving your chances of getting with, because it's like, you're basically saying, if a man cannot provide for me, I'm not getting with him. I feel like that also kind of boxes you up and limits your opportunities, because I want people to find each other, right? If you're an amazing woman, don't like box yourself up because you're looking for a man. And this takes me to, what's his name? The older guy on social media who's always something.
Kevin Simmons?
Yeah. He's like, okay, you're this and that. Do you think men who are like making six figures
Don't
like,
give me
are looking
gas,
for you?
please.
But
Like,
women
you know-
are starting to
I
see
can't.
like how we usually get the short end of the stick when we do that build a nigga, where it's just like we stay down.
Don't do this.
Yes,
to
you
me,
think
bro.
you're
That's
they
short end of the
they get up
stick.
and then they
And then mind you,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
all look at it. I had to have, if we're talking about the family dynamic where I have to have kids, I'm breastfeeding these kids, I'm taking care of these kids, I gotta work, you want me to cook, you want me to clean, like I beg, I'm tired. So I want you.
Don't even do
I
that.
want-
Please don't
Check
do
it out.
that for
No, but
somebody.
I'm saying,
To piggyback on what you just said, I read a comment, and here's what he said. So you're saying, oh, you're cooking, you're doing this, you're doing all this work and labor, you're tired. He goes, me going to work and hustling is labor.
yeah, but I'm not saying that what you're doing is not labor. I mean, I think at the same time, we both have to, we equally have work to do in the relationship. So I think that, yes, you're doing your work. That's why I'm going to do the home stuff. Most guys don't want to do that. They don't want to have to clean up the house or they don't want to do the laundry. Like, I don't want Consuela or, you know, Palake,
Yeah,
whoever to come and do all the work.
Labor is not always the
I
same
still-
because a lot of men, like if they work in IT, they're behind a computer. Not saying that's not laborious, but it's not the same as scrubbing toilets on your knees. Like,
Or having to babysit, like, no, not babysit, having to take care of kids. I took care of 2 twin boys that were like 2 years
Y'all
old
not
for like 4
taking
hours,
trash.
and that was the most exhausting. I was so tired. I was working in childcare from like 21 to like
Would you
17
be
years
mentally
old.
exhausted versus physically exhausted?
They're both physically and mentally exhausting.
They're
There's
both-
but
no.
don't be acting like they're
It's
working or they're,
exhausting.
they're tossing garbage from the street.
But those
They talk about labor.
those IT guys are liberating their minds.
But even but what if that's what you
No,
love?
No,
If that's
some
what
of them
you
play
love.
foosball in the break room all day.
What do they say? Oh, when you work, when you do a job you love, you don't do work ever again. So clearly you're doing something
Let
you
me
like.
ask a short question. Any of y'all want to be stay-at-home wives? You have a guy who has all the money, he's a millionaire. You don't have to work. Would you
I don't
wanna
trust
be a-
niggas.
Or husband.
Would you want to be? I'll be a stay-at-home husband.
Yes.
No, like,
Well, it depends. But the thing is, I have to know what are the stipulations
Wait, what is the
of
what is
me
the
being a
question again?
stay-at-home.
I'm
So
sorry.
here's
One
the
more
thing.
time.
Do you want to be a stay-at-home wife where you take care of feeding, take care of kids, cleaning up all that stuff, and he's out there hustling and bustling, he's bringing all the money. If you ask for money, he gives it to you. He has all the money. You're never gonna
Well,
go
what
wrong.
kind of man is
And
he?
so, wait, do I have time to still do what I want to do? Because to me, I feel like my life is so much bigger than just my home environment. Personally.
So you don't want to be a stay-at-home wife?
No, I mean, I enjoy making money. I'm an Igbo woman for real. Like, ask my cousin. She'll tell you, I love getting money. I love making money. Like, I just,
spending money.
I love spending money. I just love it so
Like
much.
Seiji needs to.
So yeah, of course you have to save, but I'm saying, you know, I just feel like your life is, and this is nothing about staying at home, because staying at home is a different experience for
It
women,
is.
especially if they have children.
It's
Yeah.
And it's a very
It's
special experience, but it's also very
Exhausting.
exhausting. Like to the
It
point where
is.
you do need nannies,
Yeah.
you do need help,
Well,
etc.
so-
And then you ask women mentally how they feel.
You
A lot
answer
of
the
women
question.
lose
So,
themselves.
no, I'm saying my life is, for me, my life is a little bit bigger in radius than
So you
just
don't
my
wanna
home
be a stay-at-home
environment, so I
mom.
don't want to be a
Yeah.
stay-at-home.
Okay, there's nothing
No.
wrong with that because here's the thing. A lot of people think that women, like all women have to learn how to cook. All women have to learn how to clean. All women have to learn
But
how
those
to.
are
Hold on.
basic
No,
skills,
you're saying that, but
though.
we
For
put
some,
everybody
right?
we put everybody in a box. It's a lot of women that die mentally because they brought the idea. They took on the idea of this is what I need to be when they were born into this world to be visionaries or
Yes.
Right.
I agree.
Bosses.
inventors
Sometimes
or
they-
like, and
Right.
so we don't realize it, but we're putting people in a box before they can actually make a decision to understand who they are as a human being and what they're supposed to do with their lives.
Mhm.
So it's okay if you're a woman and you don't want to have a child. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're a woman and you don't want to be in the kitchen cooking, it's okay. If that's what you want, then do that, as long as you're not bringing harm to somebody else.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you have to live with the ups and downs of whatever decisions that you chose.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be stuck and then you're looking at your life like, you know, because you just end up being depressed.
But
Yeah,
also, if I
I
want to
agree.
please my man, because I'm someone who likes to see people happy, whether
Acts
it's
of
like,
service.
it's also all love languages. Maybe the gifts one make a little.
But do you want people to be happy to the detriment of your happiness?
Well,
That's what you have to ask yourself.
I don't think it's a detriment if I think it's a partnership, and I think it's a give and take. So I know that if there's something that he likes, and I know that he loves it, and he also wants to see me happy, he's gonna do things for me. Y'all said at the beginning of this conversation, relationships are about compromise.
It is about
So
compromise.
what I'm saying is, I'm not gonna say it's a detriment. I feel like everything at the end of the day of any relationship is a matter of what do you want, both of you. There are what 7.6 billion people in this world, and we all probably just, well, men may be different, but most women want just one. So it's like, if I just would search for someone, find what it is that we like, how we operate, what is our dynamic, and then if it works, then we'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna really matter. Some people are in polygamous relationships and they're happy.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna judge them because now the labor is now divided amongst all the women in the situation, and it's okay, and they're happy, and there's no judgment.
It's just like there's always somebody for you, and you gotta be with somebody who is compatible.
Right.
Who,
That's it.
If you have good compatibility, then you need to be with them.
Yeah.
But you gotta be happy.
Don't-
That's all I'm saying is
That's-
at
Yeah,
the
but
end
if
of the
you
You have to
day,
be happy.
if
Like,
you're with
don't-
somebody who you're compatible with, you're most likely going to be happy because you won't be doing things that you're unhappy with.
Exactly.
You know, so
Right.
and I think like so just like cap that off, like gender roles should not be a thing.
I like
There shouldn't
gender
be-
roles.
I don't think there should be a gender role. Like you should do this because you're a man. That is your role because you're a man. No.
So you
it's
don't
like-
believe in the masculine and the feminine in a home
I
dynamic?
just think that, honestly, I believe that when you get with somebody, and this is where I bring in forever, when you want to be with somebody forever, or, I mean, you date typically, you date to hopefully think that that'll be a forever person. Even if you
Yes.
don't know it yet, but that's why you're dating, for the most part, right? And if you date somebody or you're with them, you should hopefully be at least like, you're thinking of forever, you're like, all right, if I can do this and I can do it right now, and I'm good at doing that, and the capacity that I have accommodates that thing, I should be able to do it and, you know, make you happy. Like if I can pick up the kids, and this is like down the road, if I can pick up the kids at 9 a.m., 5 p.m. because my job allows it and you're working like a 7 to 7, I should do that. It doesn't mean because I'm a man I should do that.
Yeah.
If I can take out the garbage because I can do that, I will take out the garbage. But what if I'm not home for like a week? You gonna wait for me to come back? Like
No.
just to take out the garbage because I'm a man?
Yeah,
You know, so it's like
no, but
if we can, if my whatever I have going on can accommodate certain things, then we plan. We plan when we're compatible and we make things work, like you said. So there shouldn't be a gender role. Because you're a man, you do this. Because you're a man, you're a provider. Again, I work in corporate America. I know women who make way more than their husbands, and they travel because I work for like multinational companies, and they go to Argentina. Guess what? The husband is going with her. He doesn't have a job. He's staying at home with kids.
I bet.
So, so guess what? He should
yeah, I
not stay
met
at
a lot
home.
of people like that.
He should
I mean, it's just personally, like, I'm.
My
like I
husband
said,
is
my
not
husband
gonna be
is
at
saying,
home.
I personally cannot, I am not
No.
sexually or physically attracted to that. I just
And
said
that's-
no.
that's-
And that's okay. So I'm saying, like,
that's fine.
it's
but
nothing wrong with it.
what I'm
but
saying
for
is
me-
everybody, everybody can't be in that box. Well,
No,
yeah,
everybody's
not
not in that
everyone-
box.
Because you know what you're
Like,
looking for.
I met this lady that she's
yeah.
never cooked. She said, John, I make enough money to eat out for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and I'm allowed to do that because that's what I choose to do.
Yes, that's
I
what
don't
you
have
should.
no kids. I have lots of nieces and nephews, and I take care of them, and I love them to death. But this is the life that I've chosen because I know what makes
As
me
she
happy.
should.
And there's
human being.
nothing wrong with that.
But the thing is, if she was occupied in what society thought, how am I supposed to live as a woman?
Yeah.
Caught up in all those kind of things,
Yep.
she would not have realized
Because
what
you're
the
waiting
truth
for
of
somebody.
things.
You're waiting for a
Yeah, it's
handout.
like- Now, I wouldn't say that. It's just no, I wouldn't call it that. I'll just say being caught up in the roles that life has created, and like
Y'all see the woman
depending your
that
happiness
was
on
that was
that.
basically saying that like she was with this guy, he gave her this apartment or da 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 da, and you know maintained this lifestyle. That gave her this lifestyle, right? So it elevated her,
Yeah.
and then they broke up, and she still
Oh, yeah, I
expected
saw
him
that.
to like
That's
maintain that
different.
lifestyle.
But remember I said sensibly minded.
Yeah, that
That's
was
not
different.
sensible.
You know, so it's like
That doesn't make any
so basically,
sense.
but the thing
Yeah,
is,
she was not
if
sensible.
society starts to like portray that or like give that expectation, and like other girls are seeing that and say, yeah, my man should do that, this man should do that, da da da. Now you're just waiting because it's a handout. It's like you're extending your hand. Okay, what do you have to offer? Can you offer this? Give me. And you're expecting that. Now you're boxing yourself because there's so many amazing men out there that you can't be with because you're thinking that you want this.
Yeah.
You know, not saying you
I
should
agree.
lower your standards or anything, but be
Makes sense.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Again, it goes to that. Be reasonable. You know, there's always going to be somebody for you, but at least like be reasonable and increase your chances.
So we agree that both parties have something to offer,
Yes.
but we should throw the table away. Let's
Yeah.
not put it on the
Yes.
table.
But we should throw
What do we
the
bring
question
into the
away.
household?
each other,
I think
please.
that
No, we
means-
should throw the question away.
Yeah.
Throw the question away. Throw
Just
the whole
start
thing
asking
away.
questions that are a little bit deeper. Like anyway,
Yeah.
a person could have
How-
this amazing job today, and the
Yeah.
job could be gone tomorrow. I need to know about your character. Like,
What is
your
your credit
character
score?
is
There you go.
forever.
What's your credit
Credit, I don't care. I
What's
mean,
your credit
credit
score?
score is literally fluctuating every single day. If you pay all your cars down, you can go from 600 to 700. I'm just saying.
How much
Like-
you just put into it?
I mean, those are that's kind of an important question. But I'm just saying. Let's start asking deeper
So
questions.
Yeah.
let's
Very
throw the
tangible-
table away.
tangible
Let's still
stuff.
ask these questions, but let's throw the table away, right? Let's just because I don't care what anybody says. You still want to ask those. You still want to know the answers to those questions.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't want to ask the question directly, you just want to figure out a way to answer the question. But you definitely want to know what this person is all about.
Yeah.
Finances, working, headspace, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's everything you bring to the table. Everything about
Right.
that person is what
Right.
they bring to the table.
Exactly.
People just misunderstand that question. What do you bring to? They just go, oh, you want to know about my money and oh, blah blah blah. Nah. Everything about you is what you're bringing to that table. Everything you have to
Right,
offer.
your mindset,
And also-
your mentality,
and another
your
thing-
viewpoint on politics, raising
Honestly, if
children.
I ask that
religion.
question, that'd be like, it'd be like, what is your character? Like,
Because
That's what I'm saying.
everything you bring to the table.
Exactly.
technically.
Yeah.
So,
So
And
I do have something to say about
So you
that
wanna
because
know what you-
when you initially meet somebody, let's say you ask somebody that question, I'm not sure that you're gonna get truthful. You're gonna get an answer, but it may not be truthful.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
because a lot of what you say isn't what it is what you do. So I think a lot of times when you meet somebody, you shouldn't just have the question in your mind, have the conversations, but actually date the person for some time and pay
Let
attention.
them show
and
you if
let
they
them
are.
show
and that's
you
what I was
who
about to
they are.
say. The answer to what you bring to the table, you don't get. Boom, just
No.
like that. No.
Yeah.
You
be
get it over
vigilant
time.
and,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and observe.
Over time, you're gonna get that answer.
Don't be
Even
caught
if they
up.
don't tell
Be
you,
caught up in lovey-dovey.
you get it, and then you make a decision from that point.
Exactly.
You know, and I heard a phrase, and I've said this for some time, that we live in 3 different worlds. And the 3 different worlds is who you think you are, who people think you are, and who you actually are. And of course, when you present yourself to people, you're going to present yourself in the best light possible. You may say, oh, I'm like this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. But then when you actually get with that person, they may perceive these actions that you consider yourself to be completely different.
Yeah.
So this whole what we bring to the table, it doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of a relationship that has longevity, because I may say I'm very communicative, but you might need a higher level than what I provide, but what I provide I think is enough. But to you may need more. So then because I don't provide it to your level of desire, then you might consider me not to be very communicative or cooperative. Like I might think, oh yeah, I'm really flexible. So, but you might not consider my flexibility as flexible. So
Yeah,
like you
facts,
said, the main conversation should be, what are the key things that you like about me? Okay, I'm A, B, C, and D. That's enough to get us to go date and talk and stuff. And then you can realize, I'm not really feeling it, or you know what, you don't. Because I realized even with guys, I'll have in my head the kind of guy that I want. There was a guy that I dated, he checked all the boxes, everything that I wanted in a guy. Had him, and it was not what I really wanted.
So you have to uncheck.
I didn't uncheck it. I still wanted it as foundation, but it coming from him,
The
the
parts of
vibe,
your personality did not.
the vibe did not work with me. He had
But
everything
all the
I wanted.
boxes
were
All the
checked.
boxes were checked.
What is this vibe?
So
What
you
is
check your vibe box.
We didn't check it.
What is vibe? Like,
It's the vibe is energy.
Because I had the same
Yeah,
experience. Like
yeah.
somebody who like in the initial stage is like, wow, like
Wow.
this person's my
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah.
And
Over
as
time.
things started to unfold, I'm talking about
6 figures,
quickly.
check.
Things started to unfold, I'm just like, bro, I'm out of here.
That's what I'm saying. Like compatibility,
Yeah, compatibility
and energy,
matters.
that
That's
matters
important.
a lot.
But I think like the easiest answer to the question is like what you bring to the table. If people are still asking, is I'll show you, and you'll see over time, and then that's it. Like I'll show you what I
I
bring to
don't
the
know.
table
You ask me that
over
question, that's gonna
time.
be the last day.
I don't care. I mean,
Yeah.
I like people
you're
that
so
are
minded.
Looking for a monkey, that's what you're looking for.
No,
Right.
I don't
Nothing.
So-
I bring nothing to this table. I bring nothing. Nothing at all. I bring pussy. That's all I bring. That's it. Literally, that's all I bring, honey.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm gonna say this one thing. So you're not gonna ask a guy what his
No.
Never.
And that's fair. And that's fair.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna do that to a guy, then of course you're not gonna answer. that
You know,
question.
yeah.
But if you're gonna ask a guy, what do you have to offer? You need to really answer the
That's
question
just
when they ask
rude
you.
and
I mean,
disrespectful.
because if you're gonna ask him, what do you have to offer? He has the right to ask you, what do you have to offer?
Yeah, if you're
That's right.
asking, but
I'll
That's
That's
true
the
for
point.
reciprocal.
But that's the thing.
Snap.
But that's the thing. If you tell a guy that, again, look, if you tell a reasonable guy that, he's gonna be like,
Yes.
thank you very
I
much.
just think that only a small-minded man that doesn't know how to go beyond the surface will ask a question like that.
But
If
here's
you're
the thing.
smart and intelligent, you already know, like, straight off the bat
Remember
how
what Don
somebody
said. Remember what
is.
Don said. We're in a changed environment. now.
Yes,
So
correct. I agree.
This guys always look. We're in a woman-empowered world, right? So if you have the nerve to ask a guy, and I'm not saying no because you guys are saying you want to ask. You ask the guy, what do you have to offer? He has every right to ask you the same question right back. I don't care what you think about it.
Not exactly because we still live in double standards. So
well,
don't
no, I'm sorry.
say
I don't disagree. I don't agree with that. I think if a person asks you, then you should be able to ask them. I think it just should be reciprocal.
Yeah, because.
But we're saying that most people probably are not necessarily asking those questions outright. Maybe not right now.
Let's jump to the next one because we are pushing time. But good conversations though. I feel like we need to touch more on that, but we need to move on because of time. Let's jump to this one. So this one goes. We might spend a little more time on this one too. It's difficult to find a nice man who doesn't have at least one baby mama. Once I see more than one kid on your profile, you're automatically disqualified. I will never understand why men allow themselves to be trapped for life by awful, low-quality women. My advice to people is if you're child-free by choice, stay single if you can't find a decent fellow child-free person.
Who said that?
Wait,
This
I
is
don't
actually
understand
a
the
comment
last
that I
part.
saw,
My advice is if you're childless by
If-
choice,
right. Basically, childless meaning if you don't want to have to deal with children by
then just
choice,
stay with
then
somebody.
just stay with, and if you can find somebody who,
Stay single till you
right,
can.
just stay single.
Find somebody that's
But
watching
my
you.
thing is,
It's much bigger too.
I guess the question
That's what
is,
she said.
Oh wow! This is somebody's
I guess the
husband.
question is, what's the problem with dating somebody with kids? Like, what's the?
It's a preference thing.
It is. It's a.
But it kind of starts to sound like it's a bashing thing. Like when you start, because I used a lot of comments under that one post. I can't remember which page posted that, but it was mad comments under there. Like, look, it was what's his dude, Justin LeBoy.
Oh.
Yeah, he posted some. So I was just going through the comments, and this was basically one of the comments was hating on it, and it's just like, why would you?
I mean,
This sounds a little arrogant to me.
Yeah.
It is. I mean,
It
it really
is.
is a preference thing because there's even some people with kids who don't want to date people with kids. Like,
That's
Yeah.
it's
very
just
true.
whatever.
I
you're
know a
not
lot of
into.
guys who don't like to date women with kids and they have kids.
And they have
Exactly.
kids. That
Which
is weird.
I mean, it's wild, but again, that's your dating life. So you get to create the rules that you want to create. But as a childless person, like I've always said, I wouldn't date somebody with kids. But grand scheme of things, like I'm 28, it's just like, all right. Like if somebody is just
Yeah.
everything and his baby mama's not coming with drama, okay. And it's one, and they're older, okay, we can talk about it. There's stipulations.
There's
of
no
it.
way-
No, but if the baby is honestly, I used to feel like, oh, the younger, but
Yeah.
then I realized like, I would, if I'm gonna date a man with kids, I would almost rather the child be older because
Yeah.
then I know that this wasn't so new. Because it's like dating a man with a newborn, it's like, wait, you
Still-
just,
still in the-
this is still very
What
fresh.
happened to
What
your
happened?
relationship?
But if the kid is like, say like between like 5 and a little bit older, that's different. But also I think for me personally, I want that first time experience with my man, my
Right,
husband, of
agreed.
having our first child, having our first dynamic. Like that's something that I preferred, and I've talked to my mom about it too. I'm like, I've dated men with kids, without kids, and I've asked my mom for her opinion. She's like, you always have to run into the possibility on top of the other issues of men wanting other women for whatever reason. When a man has a child with another woman, there's still always going to be that bond between the
Right.
baby mother and the child, or the baby mother and the baby father.
And you never know when he's gonna wake up and want
You're
to
like,
get
you know
back
what?
together.
Exactly. And a
You
lot
know?
of times
Wait, what?
I've seen it. No, but it's true. A friend of mine, he hated his baby mother. No, it's for real.
You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like y'all are putting your fears out
It's
on
not-
this situation.
But
right
it
now.
happened so many times. One of my homeboys, he despised his baby mother, and now he's having his third child with her, and they're not married.
He's juju.
Exactly. I don't let it be juju, but the fact that there's an opportunity
It's
for
going to
juju
happen,
is
yeah.
because of the fact that they already have that child.
Wait, hold on. He despises her.
He did not like her
I've
at
heard that
all.
before, though.
Like,
Okay, and they have-
whatsoever.
Might be the same person.
And they have now, they're on their third child
He
and
still
they're
despises
married.
her?
No,
Oh.
he
They're
did. Initially, he did not like her.
Definitely
But-
didn't mean that's
Because it was
changed.
a situation where like they were just dating, they were having sex, and then they had a child. And then, you know, like the dynamic, you know, the baby mama drama nonsense. And then eventually over time, as I think his kid now is like maybe 8 or so, and now they're on their first child, on their third kid, and they're married, and they just got back from their honeymoon. So it's like they're in a situation like imagine all the women that dated him thinking like, oh well yeah, he doesn't really mess with her, and now they're together. So it's just you.
I mean, it
you
sounds like a happily ever after.
it is a happy ever
For
after,
them.
but for them. But imagine all the women that liked him. Huh?
Someone should
No,
know.
I didn't talk to him. He was one of my friends. Yeah, but I'm saying.
You send me the linkage as well, just so that I want to ask you something.
His situation is already taken care of, clearly.
Yeah.
Back in the honeymoon.
No, but that's interesting because that kind of echoes what you just said. They can just wake up and switch up on you.
Yeah.
I
Wait,
just
so
feel
all the
like
men here, would y'all date women with kids if y'all were single?
Uh,
Or if you are single?
Done. I beg. Answer.
I think I would if I was single. I mean, like you said, you said you know you shooting 20 something. Like I feel like again I don't want it to look.
I don't know how you get that.
but if you went over the 30 minutes,
Yeah, I'm still 20. I'm still in my own 20s.
So here's the thing. So let's be realistic. Like in life, we're human beings. We always make decisions based on certain things.
Yeah.
I don't want it to sound like, oh, it's just because I'm shooting this age, I want to start doing this. But technically, that's what it is because you want to be realistic. Like, start shooting a certain age, you're like, you know what, hey, what I want is not what I'm getting there. Let me maybe actually open my preferences a little. Maybe I should start exploring this a little. So yeah, if I was single, I'm just saying. So yeah, if I was single, if I was single, I was shooting 35 or up-ish, almost 40-ish, and I'm not getting what I wanted. Yeah, maybe I would explore the opportunity, you know, marry someone with kids. You know,
And it's okay to it's okay to come back, recalibrate, figure things out, and do a whole day. Like, and I think that's also something I don't understand why sometimes society kind of condemns people for changing their minds.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, well obviously I was doing it one way, it didn't work. So now I'm in a situation where I may have to do something differently. And it's okay to make changes. It's okay to think, you know, because at first I used to be like that. Now, still, I'm not 100% interested in dating somebody with kids because of me wanting to have that first time. It's like when you go to the movies with somebody and you want to see a really good movie, they tell you, oh, they've already seen it, and they're like, I don't want to go see that movie with you. You want to experience that first time. Children in the movie are different, but
here's the thing. So you want to experience that first with him.
like our first family building together.
Well, it's the first experience with him, regardless.
But it's not because he's already had the child. He's already gone through it. Well,
It's
technically better because he'll know what to do more probably than me because I ain't got no kids. And if he's already gone through the process, it would probably be better because he's been through many of the growing pains of childhood with or what is it called, parenthood. So it's like now I'm thinking it would have to probably be smarter, but. I'm sorry, I didn't get it. I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I should date them with kids because children, they stress me.
Keep this little nigga alive.
I'm like, wait a minute, we might be onto something here.
Let's tell enough for right now.
all the single dads call Megan dad. Y'all coming up with open arms. Whatever kids.
I'm like, wait a minute, he might be able to help me out because I am not the best at changing diapers, and he's done this before.
Oh my God.
But it's still.
See, she changed her mind.
I did right here. Literally, like I just went through a whole life
That
changing.
is crazy.
But in this, the essence of us both having our first child and excited about our first family building situation, that is really what it is. But I might want to have a baby.
Somebody with kids, guys.
You're very
would
quiet.
Not.
You would not.
I would not date somebody with kids. I don't really. For me, if you have kids, and no shade to anybody, personally, it's like one of those things. Like if you have a boyfriend, I'm not looking at you. Like
That's not the same thing.
no, it's not the same. But I'm saying it's like for me, right? Like there's some. Okay, so it's like if I walk into a room and I see a bunch of fine women, and let's say like you know, I put on these spy glasses and it's literally like writing their whole profile. There's certain things I'm like, nah. You know, there's certain guys that they walk into a room, even if you have
So what's the reason that you want that from?
my reason is I don't want to say burden, but I definitely feel like if you're dating somebody and they have a child, you have to be involved in the child's life as well.
There's a level of responsibility that you don't want.
There is.
From someone else's child.
Yeah, and I just don't want that.
That's fair.
Just
When you date, do you date with intention in the sense of you date someone you're like, okay, this is someone I could potentially see myself being with?
Yeah, if I was open to actually like courting and dating, yes. If I'm seeing women, that's different.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So
So
yeah.
if
so I
you're
feel like
seeing
it's-
women, you don't care that she has a couple babies on the side.
Well, that's a
actually no, that too. No, I actually care.
That's a major factor too, though, because when you're dating somebody, you want to bond with them and spend time. And sometimes they got to go to soccer practice, they got to drop so and so off to school, they got to pick them up, take them to the doctor.
Yeah,
Even if they do plan something with you, like that kid's always gonna come first, and if little
Yeah.
Susie got to go here,
At
they're
this,
out. So
at this point,
yeah.
it's just not my thing, but maybe
And
I'll
then
be
the
open
kid
to
comes
it.
first before
possibly.
you. Like
Right.
I want that's a big thing. Like I don't require like, you know, how do I say this? Annoying amounts of attention, but it's like you must put your child first before me. If something happens to Junior or the little girl or whatever, then you have to choose her first. And then if you don't, I'm gonna be looking at you some type of way.
Yeah.
So it's really a lose-lose in a
But
sense.
then there's women who would probably tell the guy, hey.
Go handle that. But it's like,
No,
but
to
imagine.
me, like, hey,
Oh,
you should
right.
all the time. Hey, I'm
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, too. So
Yeah.
yeah, and no, some girls are like that. Like you gotta choose me. Like I'm your woman. I'm here. You know. And then there's also the drama with the baby mother too, or the baby father. You know, it's just you have to deal with that. And I know a lot of guys have told me that like they don't want to raise another man's child because they feel some type of way. Because like but a guy that I was talking to once, he was telling he has one kid, and he told me I don't like dating women with kids, and I was like, why? And he was like, because he was having a custody battle with his baby mother, and his baby mother was allowing her boyfriend to take care of his kid. And it made him feel some type of way, like I don't want another man around my child. Like I want him around my child, but it's like you still have like that's my kid. I don't need another man. I don't need my child calling another man dad or looking up to him in a certain kind of way. So I don't want to raise another woman's kids because imagine how that man fit her baby father
I'm not in that
feels.
situation, but the thing is, like I said, we have to be realistic. If you're not together and she has somebody else in her life,
He's involved.
he's involved.
That's why he doesn't
I'm
want
not
to date a
saying-
woman with kids. He doesn't want to deal with
Yeah, I
that.
don't want to be involved in it.
He doesn't want to be
Yeah.
involved in it. So that's
Yeah.
just really what it is. It
But-
takes-
but that's
he has
kinda different
kids,
though.
but he has kids, and
Yeah.
she's gonna find somebody else. And then when she has that somebody else, that's still her child. And when
Yeah.
that child
Yeah.
is with her, that somebody else is in that child's life.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, I'm sorry.
He don't want to date
But
a
no,
woman
that's
with
not one
kids.
size
That's
fits
the
all,
point.
because in a Russell Wilson situation, great, that's perfect, because he's
Yes.
just showing their kid extra love. But there's some people who step in and start beating on the kid or trying to discipline them like they're their parent,
Yep.
and that's not okay.
Well, that's where the mother comes in.
But the mother sometimes is complicit
Yeah, she's
because that's her
stupid.
man. She
Yeah,
wants
that's
to
her man.
stay.
Exactly.
stupid.
And you don't be with the
I mean,
complicit
stupid or
woman.
not, it still happens.
But that's the
you know?
reality. Like we live in a world where there's just so many
All those
different
things are
realities.
possibilities, but I just feel like in the end, if you don't really want to deal with any additional drama, you don't want to have there's already issues in relationships. Like, let's not forget, we're in this environment, there's temptations everywhere,
Yep.
there's traveling, there's other people trying to come in the middle of your relationship. You might want to
Yes.
about, there's so much going on, I'm just saying.
So,
You
it's
then
different
have to
personal
add,
statements.
I'm talking about in general, you then have to add the drama of someone else having a child, but I think the older I
Yeah.
get personally, I don't really want to date a man with a child. But the older I get, if I'm still single at a certain age, I might have to think, okay, like let's say I'm
What's-
35, God
what age is
forbid.
that?
I'm
Oh, at
saying like, if
35,
I'm 35, God forbid, and I don't have a man, because I'm sure. let me stop talking. Okay? There's people out there might be watching this.
That's
Let
what's
me-
about
That are
to
saying,
No,
Well, no, because
No,
you want,
I'm-
at some point you have a vision for
I'm
yourself.
talking about my person. This is my life.
But you said
I'm
God
talking about.
forbid, so it's like you
No,
were-
God, I said God forbid, I'm not with my own husband.
I'm
by
feeling you,
that's
just
my
like
personal
you.
goal.
Just
Don't mind him.
They're
Anyway,
triggered. They're
thank
triggered.
you.
Too many comments.
Well, I don't mind to trigger trigger. I mean, I don't mean to trigger you,
don't
but
invite the
whatever.
trigger down.
All I'm saying is,
That was a kid.
at that point, I might have to say, okay, if I'm meeting a
Yeah.
man that's like 40, he might have been divorced and had a child, and I might have to be okay with that. The older I get, I
I'm
feel
seeing
like,
it.
and the older women get, the lower their standards become.
Why
I'm
don't
not
you
trying
just
to be
get
rude,
your
I'm
younger
just
man
saying.
It's not lower standards.
It is.
Man.
Why don't you get your younger man
No,
if you
sir.
worry about that?
Because
Wait,
young men
hold
are
on.
useless.
But they don't have kids, so you can just.
But they're useless. They don't have kids.
Even
They have,
men
they
at
have
freaking
stress.
30, 31, 32 are still
Like I would rather be with a
Crazy.
man that's like
I'm just
37 with a child that has sense than be with a 27 or 28-year-old childless man who still hasn't figured his
What if
life
he
out
has
yet.
sense? Because there's 27, 28-year-old men or younger men than you that have sense.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, but
So what's wrong with that?
didn't find them.
Basically, what you're saying is
And that's them to me.
No,
Because
you-
the ones I'm seeing,
No, but you'd rather be with a man that has sense than one that has no sense, right?
yes.
So sense, you pick. No sense, you won't pick. Those
Yes.
people come in age ranges.
And
different
that's what
ones.
I'm saying.
Exactly, so it's
but
not about
younger men have a different levels of maturity. Like,
What is
let's
younger?
be realistic.
Put an age
Like
limit,
even men in
listen to
men in their 20s are just not on the
20
same level.
20 what?
20s of them
29.
all. 20
so
to
really,
29.
that's 30.
No, even in
Right.
30s, I'm talking about like when men are in their 30s, mid 30s and higher, they're just better and more
Every woman
sensible.
find a man
So
who's
you're
like
saying-
40.
so-
they
That's what I'm saying. I'm very honest.
from 20 to 39.
I don't
is actually
typically
crazy.
want to date significantly older men, but I notice I relate significantly better to men that are between the ages of like 37 and up than men that are 35 and younger.
So Megan, but check this out though. You don't want to date
So
a man
That's a
with
very
kids.
general
But check
statement.
this out. You don't want to date a man with kids, but you relate better with people who are over.
Not
35.
all older men are
See that
have
box
kids.
stuff I'm talking about?
But it's not
See
boxed
that
up.
box stuff I'm
No,
talking
because
about?
some men refuse to have a child before marriage, and there are men that follow that process.
I'm
So I don't
telling
think
you,
that
but
it's
it's America.
impossible. I mean, I've met plenty of men, and I'm not saying that I'm single. I'm not saying that I'm not dating. Like I am in a position that I am okay with, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying there are plenty of guys that are in this world that don't have kids that are 30 something because
You could
they want to
more
have.
that
they-
are more than less than 30.
but even the ones that are less than 30 could just be stressed. It doesn't. I don't.
the
I
ones
don't-
that are more than 30 can be stressed too.
Exactly. So me, I will choose within my stress.
thing
Which
is-
stress is more stress I want to take?
My point is,
Manage expectations. That's all. That's what I'm about. Like everything,
That's
whatever you
fair.
can handle and put on yourself.
Exactly.
That's
it shouldn't. I don't think it
Because
should.
the woman that you don't like that has kids may be your wife and she may be able to do everything that she needs to do for you to make you happy. But you want to box yourself by not dating her because she has kids.
No, my thing is, I won't. No, I won't.
I mean, we're talking about boxes and circles and triangles, so I'm
but-
just saying
At the
you
same
could
time,
be
we all
that.
have, we all, as individuals, we have preferences, right? I have a preference of
Yes.
not at this point
Yes.
dating women who have children.
Yes,
it's
same
my
as myself.
preference. It's like,
Yeah.
and I think as we've all expressed, or most
Yeah.
of us, as we get older, you change and you evolve.
Yeah.
And you kind of said that no matter what, like we are, I don't know how you said it, but you're like, we're feeling judged based on what society thinks of us changing our minds, right? If I wake up tomorrow and change my mind on something, whatever it is, it's
That's fine.
completely fine.
Yeah.
Right? But my thing is, I want us in the general population to be reasonable and not have
What do you
these
deem as reasonable?
whatever reasonable is to you. Be real with yourself, right? Be real with yourself. Like look at yourself in the mirror. Be real. Like say, you know what? I beat with my chest. I'm real, and that all these your preferences are not so narrow that you're against the
What
wall.
is the narrow preference that I have?
No, I didn't say there's any narrow preference you have. I'm just saying generally, right? It's like, oh, okay, I'm not talking about you. A woman will say, oh man, who's this? This.
Well, why not?
But that's
this.
okay
Let me
because I gotta be
finish.
with him. I gotta sit with him. I gotta be with him.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Come on, Don.
You have all these
Land
things.
is
What happened ended.
If you're real with yourself and you're like, man, after 2, 4, 5 years, damn, I'm still single. I'm gonna still be holding my kidney on my shoulder. You're in your 30s, you're nearing 40. I'm gonna still hold it. Are you real with yourself? Are you being
No.
real?
No.
That's my own thing. That's my own thing.
I mean,
If
So
you
what
think
if-
you are,
okay.
then that's fine.
So in what I said in relation to that
Mhm.
concept, what did I say that kind of was the opposite of what you're saying?
No, so what you had said, I forgot what it was, but I
Okay.
I literally forgot what it was and how you put it, but I was going to say like it's kind of like boxing yourself. It reminded me of me saying like how people like box themselves, or not
So
necessarily.
all older men have kids?
No, I didn't say not all older men have
Because
kids.
that's what
It's
literally
asking-
all I
it's-
let me just small remind you what I said.
Mhm.
I said I would prefer to date a man that's
Right.
older
Right.
than 35.
Yeah.
Men that are younger than 35, I've noticed we just don't seem to connect on the same level.
Yeah.
I would prefer a man that does not have kids.
Yeah.
There are how many people in this world? Not every man that is above 35 has a child, because not
That's
all men
true.
sleep with women unprotected, because that's how you have a kid.
Yeah.
And not all men are sleeping with women in general. I mean, they are, but it's like.
you
know.
But it narrows your chances.
It's a very
But
Well, it's
everyone,
also narrow your
but
chances.
listen, I'm a black woman in general. There's not that many black men in America in general. My chances are narrow regardless. If I,
So narrow them even
but it
more.
doesn't. But I'm saying just because my chances are like I'm not an arrogant person. I know I'm a beautiful woman,
Yes.
and I get approached by men daily. Anytime I go, I get
Yeah.
approached by a man. So I'm not saying that I'm in a position where I can't find a man that doesn't
Yeah.
have kids.
I know-
I'm seeing men
Yeah.
that have kids. So
Yeah.
I'm saying me personally, my situation may be
Yeah.
a little bit more different because
Yeah.
I'm in a different place.
Yeah.
Because I have men come up to me, literally, they're like, "You are tall."
Yeah.
That like my height,
Yeah.
and they're like, "I want
Yeah.
to have children with you because I
Yeah.
want my kids
To
to
be
have
tall.
a chance to be
Yeah.
tall."
Yeah, no,
so
I
it's
don't-
like
I don't think so.
I'm doing it based off of where I'm at and where
Yeah.
I'm going and
No,
what my situation is.
I agree with everything that you're saying, and I wasn't like, I don't want you to say like I was attacking you or anything. When I was
I'm not
talking,
attacking you. It's okay.
when I was talking about just being boxed, and I think like most of your comments, I kind of like just resonated with me, and I think I hear certain things that are unreasonable. Not that you said things that are unreasonable, but you reminded me of things that are unreasonable that people say, and it just makes me think that again, people, even men, should not box themselves by narrowing their chances, because you want to be real with yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're not being real. You're absolutely being real, because I'm sure, like you said, you're seeing people every day that are interested in you, that are interested in you.
Don't have
And-
kids.
yeah,
Even
exactly.
women.
They don't have even women.
Women that are
But
just
that
like,
boxing
why?
in and that being real, that's subjective, because at the end of the day, it's up to the individual. Like, you cannot place a standard up on a woman of, okay, you're pushing 35, you need to lower your standards. That's up
No.
to that woman and
Yeah.
that woman alone.
You have
I
to
mean,
have confidence
okay.
with yourself.
Because
Yeah.
I'm somebody that
I agree with that.
Yeah, and
but
was good.
I just feel like, I'm sorry, if you are getting older, the playing field for you is slowly decreasing. And I just
Yes.
think we need to have conversations with major assumptions already on the table. Like, I have cousins who are 35, 36,
I do watch them.
still no man, still no husband.
But some people are
No
okay with
boyfriend.
that.
But I'm saying, I'm talking about people that are not okay with that. People that are
Yeah,
not
there's
okay.
some
I'm
people-
not saying women who are okay with going to brunch every day and we're comparing the bags that we got and we're like, at 40 years old we're having brunch and that's
Yeah.
life and I'm good. I'm talking about people that want to be in a relationship
Mhm.
that have not found someone or have wasted a lot of time in their 20s or 30s being with someone and it did not work out. Now they
Yes,
want to be
that's
with
a big
someone else.
thing too.
These are things that are actually happening. So I'm just thinking from the perspective of knowing people in my close family that have had this who feel like I would not have dated the man with kids before.
Yeah,
But
now.
but now, if I meet someone and he does have a lot of the other stuff that I want and he has a child, I think I'm at a place where I feel a little bit more comfortable being
Yeah.
okay with it
Oh, yeah.
because
Absolutely.
I'm
Your
probably
situation has
not
changed.
gonna, my situation is different.
So ultimately,
And I'll be that, yeah. So off of a personal experience, because I tell people this all the time, that I personally have the belief that you can have it all. So everything, no matter what, it looks unrealistic to whatever person, whatever your belief system is, you can have that thing down to the letter.
Yeah.
However,
Mhm.
I'm also like taking into account, for example, like I said, my age, I'm 28. I'm 28, and if anything, I feel like my standards have gotten more stricter because I recently, like maybe this past year, kind of got into the dating pool, and it has P and feces and throw up inside.
Yes, it does.
Like, bad. So I stopped dating, and I'm just like, okay, this is the time for me to like recalibrate and see what it is that I really want, what is conducive to like having a partner. And the way I see it is just like if I fumble on anything, like, or if something is not matching up, I'm good to cut it off because
Yes.
I don't know,
that's
like
how it should be.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like I'm gonna
You don't have to force
Because
it.
there's
Right
someone
now,
for
you're
everyone.
happy.
Like, let's
Yeah.
let's
Now,
be.
that's not to say that if I'm 35, I may feel the same way. Like, okay, I might wiggle. I'm like, okay, he doesn't have to be 5, 6, 3. Okay, fine. Okay, he can have 2 kids,
6'3".
maybe, or whatever. Like, so it just depends on the person. I don't believe that nobody can put that on somebody else.
I check out. Final words on this topic, and then we roll out. Who wants to go?
I'm not gonna lie. What was the question again?
I was just gonna say, it really like it always depends, right? As we'll always say, it depends.
Okay.
But I think
Okay.
from what we've all collectively agreed on is as you transition in this journey called life, you kind of change, evolve as a person,
Yeah.
and then your decisions for yourself kind of change. But be real with yourself, like always be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'll piggyback on that. I think, yeah, everybody definitely, there comes a time where you want to literally, you just have a conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
It's not just with dating, it's with looking for a job, it's with
life.
It's with life.
Yeah.
You set standards. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, how's my life?" Blah, 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 blah. I was like, "Oh, it's cool, cool, cool." I was like, "Oh, so you get married soon?" And she was like, and I was like, "What's wrong?" She was like, I was like, "You have standards?" She was like, "Yeah," but she's starting to be more realistic. I mean, just like this is a conscious decision
I don't
you
like
make.
that word.
I mean, because here's the thing. Because as
But
human beings,
why is
right?
what she wants
That's why I
not
say real
realistic?
with
No,
yourself.
no.
That's why I'll say real
I'm
with
not saying-
yourself.
Because somebody has what she wants, and they have it. So, but it's like that they're unrealistic.
Again, check this out. I didn't say that. She said that. She
Yeah.
must have figured out because some people do have.
Sometimes you do
overly
have, yeah,
realistic
sometimes you can.
expectations.
Like you just want every single thing, you want this person to be
Exactly.
perfect, and it's probably not gonna be like that. Just
And then the
because
conversation we had was,
Exactly.
and then what you said, I said, well, you know, you don't have to. She was like, well, but yeah, but she needs to be at a level where it's achievable.
Yeah.
Because some people set goals that are technically, I don't want to say it's unachievable, but
Sometimes I feel like men don't want to see women happy. They'll be like, oh, do you think that's really possible for you to get that? Like, oh, you think you can? Like, I feel like men be your biggest haters.
That's your final.
That is
That's your
accurate.
final one. Okay, that's your final one.
I'm just saying.
please achieve everything you want.
They be your biggest haters, okay?
That is
Nigga,
unfortunately very true.
It is.
I'm not gonna lie.
Because it be guys that be like, oh, you can't, oh, you think
Yes,
this is realistic, you can get this and that and this. I'm like, I don't want you, so why are
You
you
feel
concerned?
me?
But tell me, so, but when a fine girl walks in the room, why are all the women
Like
looking
I would
at her
never,
like,
I would never go to a
Y'all
man and
be
tell
dating?
him that what he wants. Like if he wants to have a white woman with big old breast titties and she's rich, he wants to be a stay-at-home dad. I would never, ever say. I'm like,
Yeah.
go, that's your own portion. But then if a woman says, I want a rich man, I don't want to do nothing, I want to be 6'4",
That just sounds
6'5",
I don't agree.
he
I don't
will
agree.
be-
I
ran
don't agree.
into it.
No, but
You ran into a
you don't
hater.
agree
But
with it, but mind you, I'm a woman in the dating pool
Yeah.
who has
No.
been presented with men that say these type of things.
I'm saying your
In
statement
your
was false.
situation, I think you
What
ran into a
statement
hater.
is
Hold
false?
on. In her situation, I think she ran into a hater.
Yeah.
Real quick, I would like to say this real quick. Everybody, I respect everything that y'all said, but you have to remind yourself what the core belief is. What do you want? Do you want happiness? You want peace? You want joy? You want trust? You want all of those things.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. You can have those things, but when you create those other boxes, I want a man that's 5'3" and up. I want a man.
5'3".
What? 5'7". 5'7". I'm trying to see everybody. Hold on. I really have a point.
5'3", 6'3".
Hold on.
I am 5'9".
I really have a valid point right here. An income that's whatever amount
Yeah.
you choose. Yeah, you start creating all these stuff. Those things can happen, but then what you end up doing is you create what you don't want,
Right.
and that's what you don't realize.
What do I not want in that?
Happiness.
No, because the core, this is your
core
core.
values are
You
not
want the
there.
core
It's kind of
value.
like wanting somebody
That
that's
happens.
money, but then they're financially abusive. It's like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. So because what you're looking at, real quick, yo, what y'all looking at is the happiness, the joy, the peace,
Yes.
all those things, and those things can come to you so much more quicker than once you start creating all these other boxes. Because when you start creating all these other boxes, you start creating a whole bunch of situations that you was like, yo, I did not want this, I did not call for this.
You're right.
And you
you're
start
right.
realizing, and
I
then when
think
you
that.
say start being real, that's when you're going through all of this and you're like, okay, you know what, you start being real and you're saying to yourself, this is really what I want, the happiness, the joy, the peace, and all of that. So, yeah, just to wrap it up. And,
I
I'll
support you
take
with
that.
that.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
One last one. Did you have something to say? Okay,
No,
good.
I take that.
I don't know what happened to this. I couldn't get the chat. No, I was going to run through the chat real quick. Let me see if you got that.
I think it's
Let me see what she's saying. Okay, DLI said a lot of things. I feel like if you have kids, then you gotta recalibrate. I get that you like what you like, but for you to have a kid and be like, well, I don't want another man around my kid somehow, which is what I was saying. When you have a kid, you don't want someone with kids.
Yeah, and it's just like,
What about the mother not wanting the key to be around whom you're dating. If y'all are together, then, you know, should both of you be single forever or just go with
It's very
if you-
touchy.
That's a conversation thing, because sometimes
Yeah.
people are temporary. Like, don't be bringing somebody you're dating for 2 weeks around my
I
kid.
agree.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
not cool.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even want to meet the child.
Exactly.
Say well, more, I mean, change standards because you evolve and are a different person is cool, though.
Yeah.
Not because you're older, okay, because you evolve.
Evolve, that's what I'm
Right,
saying.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But no, good conversations though. I don't know what happened to my
Just close
thing.
it up.
Good conversations. Appreciate y'all for coming out. We should do this again sometime. Send new
Yeah.
people. Yeah. I think next time we did the peak specific. You said what?
That last topic about keeping the woman out.
Oh yeah, we didn't get to that one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That was its own thing.
Keep that, keep your.
That's not even a real car. I think we will all agree on that.
But we can talk about that off camera.
Thank y'all for tuning in next Sunday. Couple more faces, more new faces.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, like, share, whatever you feel like doing that will favor us. Comment. What else? Well, subscribe.
Go to CTalkTV.com/cast to
Right, if you want
be
to
a part of the show. If you want to come up here and join us here on the panel. If you have great topics that you like us to talk about up here, you can hit us up on Instagram, share the topic ideas with us.
and we'll talk about it.
Yep. And thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for coming up and spending this time with us.
You know, I like this. I like
What's
the.
the next group?
It's an interesting group. We're going to craft specific topics for y'all, so that
Yeah.
because all these expectations, we like, okay, what?
Right, I don't know.
All these, but no, thank you for tuning in, man. Good conversations. See y'all next week.
That was fun.
Oh, yeah. Woo.
So about that last topic.
Oh,